Today, my guest is Katharina Hellman. Katharina is in Germany, and she is a climate change coach, which I thought was super interesting. So, Katharina, thank you so much for joining me today. How are you?
Hi, Amy. Thank you so much for having me. It's really a pleasure and an honor to be able to speak to you and of course to everyone who's listening. I'm well. It's 10 p.m. here at the time of recording this, but yeah, I'm completely fired up and excited to have this conversation. Totally.
Oh my gosh, I feel so bad. At 10 o'clock, we are like in bed. It is the middle of the night practically. So I really appreciate your time tonight.
That's fine.
So I said you were a climate change coach, which I'm sure most people, if not all people, have not heard of because you said
Yeah.
you are in the eighth cohort and there are 70 people total that are trained for this coaching.
So far, yes. So what that actually means, climate change coach, is I am a certified life coach, and that means I'm trained in all sorts of techniques that are, let's say, typical for life coaching. For example, mindset, transformation, emotional processing, somatic, emotional processing, goal setting, and all that kind of stuff. But I've done, in addition to my normal life coaching certification, let's say, this advanced climate change coaching certification. And this basically is an advanced training that taught me how to, let's say, adapt all these coaching tools that I was trained in before, how to adapt them specifically to people who are suffering around or about climate change in a broader sense. So how to specifically deal with eco-anxiety, climate change anxiety, how to approach goal setting in in a sort of in the context of an uncertain future, because how are we going to know how the world will look like in 5 or 10 or 15, 20, 50 years time? So the usual goal setting approach that we have in kind of like a stable world where we can calculate that it will look like it looks today in 40 years or whatever, doesn't really apply. So it's basically a special training of how to bring mindset and emotional coaching tools to people in the context of climate change. And I've used that specifically to help people with anxiety around climate change, with eco-anxiety, climate change anxiety, which is basically defined as having a fear of how the world will look like in the future because of climate change, because of biodiversity loss, because of all these environmental crises
Mm.
and problems that we have. And I've now broadened this approach of eco-anxiety to also include sustainability coaching. And that is probably how we met, because you're also speaking about sustainability. So I'm now using what I've learned and what I've been trained in to help people not only turn their climate anxiety into empowerment and knowing what to do into effective action of whatever type, but I'm also helping people live more sustainably through coaching, because I think the problem with living more sustainably, with living a sustainable lifestyle, is not so much about knowing what to do. If you do a normal Google search, you will come up with, for example, if you're looking for a reusable water bottle, you can just Google all day long and find probably billions of options. But like, it doesn't stop with just buying the bottle. You will have to, like, if you really are serious about, using this bottle, you will have to develop the mindset, the habit, the sort of, become someone who uses this bottle every day and who remembers, washing it, bringing it to work and bringing it with you. So I think climate, like, coaching helps specifically with regards to sustainable living in helping people actually implement what they read about sustainable living on the internet, how to actually overcome everything that is holding them back, that is, getting them stuck with actually implementing a sustainable lifestyle. So yeah, that's what I do today in a nutshell.
Right. I remember reading on your website, and I feel like it's so true. I mean, I know I always ask people what sustainability means to them, and it's such a big, broad word. But then on your website, there is the little tick point that says, basically, it's such a big thing. Like, where do I even start? Like, is it
Yeah,
too late for me? And
exactly.
how can I, is there a way to start small, or people have that feeling of I have to give up everything.
Exactly. Yeah.
And that's hard to get past, and so that's
Yeah.
really important that you have this training and
Yeah.
this coaching available.
Yeah, because this, I mean, this, you've just touched on exactly the core thing. Those are all beliefs. And we can question our beliefs. We can, sort of objectify them and look at them from the outside with the help of, someone who has a different perspective, who looks at your life and your brain and what you are thinking, sort of
Mhm.
from the outside together with you. And then, from that point on, from that sort of vantage point, we can then together look at, is this really true? Do I want it to be true? Even if it's true, do I want to keep believing it? Do I want to shift my mindset around that? And yeah, so I really want to speak, like take a moment to speak about what is coaching in general, because maybe not everyone has come into contact with coaching who is listening today. So I would say the best thing to describe my work is I'm going to be sitting next to you as my client, and we are going to be sitting side by side on a sofa together, and we are going to be watching what is going on in your mind, in your brain, in your life, like on a big TV or cinema screen. And we're just going to be watching that, and maybe I'll point out one or two things that I find interesting about what is going on, and just to make you aware, I didn't know it was like that. I didn't know this was a belief of mine, like a firmly held belief that I've thought so many times that I'm now convinced it's true. But someone else would say, "Oh my God, what is going on? How can you think that way about XYZ?" So it really is, you know, coaching really is helping people see their own mind, seeing what is going on in their mind, in their brain, and then helping them make decisions about how to how to go on from there, whether they want to change it, whether they want to keep everything as is, because just because you're being coached doesn't mean that you have to become someone completely
Right.
different, or that you have to change anything at all. It's just about helping people become aware of what is going on in your mind, and then what consequences with regards to your emotions or your actions are coming from that. And then once you have this awareness, you are now then in a position to think about, okay, as I said, do I want to keep everything as is, or is it more useful for me, for my social surroundings, my family, or with regards specifically to climate change and sustainability, is it useful for the planet for me to keep on thinking like I am thinking, or do I want to change that? And
Mm.
then how do I change that? Of course, that's also what I have with.
Wow. That is it's so cool. That's such a
Yeah,
it's such an amazing thing. I mean, we were talking before we came on that, there's so many things that are connected with climate change right now, and it can
yeah,
feel super overwhelming and depressing, and you
totally.
can have so much anxiety because
Yeah,
like I said, where do I even start? Like, is it too late? And why do these things keep happening? And are we just all going to die because killed the we're killing the world?
yeah,
But I'm sure that it can feel very overwhelming. And also on your
totally.
we were talking also about on your website also, it talks about how I think there was a mention of, like, if you are practicing sustainability but you know people that aren't, like, then it's also, you know, like a mindset thing. Like you have to let that go because you cannot control them. But, you know,
Yeah.
to not like think differently of people that are thinking differently. Like they just are.
Yeah. I mean, it really is just about, where do I direct my energy to? Would I rather direct my energy on being angry with the world and with how things are? And, just, I think that is particularly true for people who are, you know, activists sometimes, that kind of goes a bit overboard. Not that I want to downplay what they do. I mean, I think it's incredibly important to raise awareness about climate change, but I mean, how much anger and rage and blame and judgment is
Right.
usually part of climate change conversation, both within an activist scenario, let's say, but also within, like, let's say, a family scenario. Like, for example, I did a webinar around like a free workshop, and I'm doing for this year, my business goal is to give a free workshop every month on a specific coaching topic around sustainable living. And the Christmas, like December one, was on exactly this issue, like, how do I navigate
Family
Christmas, holidays
conversations.
with people in my family who are thinking I'm completely crazy by being even worried about climate change? Or how do I navigate, maybe like being inundated with presents, plastic, and food waste and whatnot. And yeah, I mean, again, the main question for me here is how much is it costing you to try to change other people, and how much of that energy that you are using to be angry at them, to be blaming them, to judge them, to be in conflict with them, how much of that energy could be directed to a more useful cause? Because even if in your family or in your social circle there isn't anyone who is on the same page as you on climate change or sustainable living, there are millions of, even billions of people out there who are. So it may just be a question of, finding other people to be in community with. And for example, I'm currently working on a coaching program, a membership coaching program, which is hopefully going to be launching for the first time in March. And that is exactly where I'm wanting to start such a community. So the purpose of this program is not only that I'm going to be coaching people on how to live more sustainably in monthly new like there is going to be a monthly new topic every month, both with regards to climate and sustainability, but also with regards to coaching. But there is going to be a community around this. So we will build a community. Of course, this is going to be taking time and all of that, but I want to offer the possibility for people to be in community with like-minded people, because it is sometimes really difficult to sort of navigate being with other people or family members, husband, wife,
Right.
grandparents who don't seem to care. Or another thing that I really want to say here is, because also people who deny climate change or who think that sustainable living is just completely, I don't know, maybe like fake news
Fake
and all
news.
of
Yeah,
that. Yeah,
exactly.
I mean, it really is worth asking yourself, maybe not ask them, but asking yourself, where are these people really coming from? And I would bet that in many cases, it's not that they don't know about it. They just don't want to know it. They don't want to look at it. They are afraid. They are full of fear, because once you look at climate change,
You can't unsee
it
it.
is hard. It is tough. And some people just can't deal with that. And that's okay. that's okay. Not everyone, not every single person on the planet has to be completely knowledgeable. It is enough if a certain proportion of the population. I've forgotten whether it's a third or a quarter, but there is there is this scientifically proven threshold of people that once you have, let's say, 20% of people standing up for a cause, then that's when it kind of, you have this tipping point, this social tipping point where it becomes this mainstream, that's when everything is being set in motion. So again, how much energy are you spending convincing Uncle Frank that, he should
needs to do
not
more.
eat the steak, but rather, go for the vegan option? And, and how much of this time and energy that you're spending on that
Right.
could be spent on something more useful to you, to your mental health, to your emotional health, to the planet's health. Maybe go out, plant some trees in the time that
Right.
to see what I'm saying. So there are a lot of like this topic of, climate change coaching and sustainability coaching is just so incredibly broad, because it really does touch all the aspects of life. I mean, I did this when I did this preliminary plan of how this membership program is going to be working. I mean, I had trouble fitting everything
I
into my
believe
monthly
that.
curriculum. I mean, if you think about it, it's transport and travel, it's food, it's consumption, it's finances, it's electricity and energy, it's children, it's beauty, fashion. I mean, it's just mind-boggling how many aspects of your life can be made more planet friendly, or can also benefit from coaching. I mean, that really is also the case, and I'm really trying to sort of, reinvent my program in the way that I'm going to be combining the sustainability topic with the corresponding coaching topic. So yeah.
Wow, that's so valuable. And I think it really is so broad because it literally affects everything. We
Yeah.
just don't, there are just ways that we might not know of yet,
Yeah.
personally. Like, I'm sure there are ways that I am not aware of that I could be more sustainable. But like, and to what you were saying with using your energy instead of, making Uncle Frank, telling Uncle Frank he should be doing more, but there are things that you can be doing that are more positive for yourself, for the earth, but
Yeah.
also like for Uncle Frank, because if you are telling him he needs to do something, there's an amount of shame that some people will
Yeah.
feel. So like,
Exactly.
it's not just, and I was thinking at first, like, it's just so much for one person to carry, like all of that weight and,
Yeah.
worrying about other people and the world, and then,
Yeah.
feeling like other people aren't doing enough. Like, that's a lot of weight. And then if you are pushing that onto someone else, like that's not helpful, because you're just spilling over that negativity into
Yeah.
someone else. Like, we were
And
just
I
on
mean,
vacation, and I was talking to um a couple of family members, and they were like, Amy, you're gonna be so mad at me, but I still use bottled shampoo. I'm like, I no judgment. Like, that is,
yeah.
and I feel bad that people feel that way, like that I would think less of them, and that makes me sad.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, yeah, because yeah, I mean, it's absolutely true what you said. I mean, because if we continue to, go at others because they're not doing enough, what is the most likely reaction going to be? If I'm being criticized all the time by someone for not doing enough in XYZ, I'm not likely to, just say, okay, yeah, you're right. Yeah, I should be doing. And then it's going to be most likely, it's going to be the exact opposite
Defensive.
reaction that, now on principle, I mean, who are you to tell me, shut up, I'm going to do this my way, and I'm going to do it in your face my way, So that is,
Yeah.
and that is sort of,
Or they're just
so
not going to hang out with you.
yeah, and I mean, it might have the exact opposite effect of what you were trying to
Right.
do, because we can't, like, this is true both with regards to ourselves, but also with regards to others. Like, we can't beat ourselves into action, or
Right.
others for that matter. It has, like, the most successful change that we can, let's say, create from within yourself is when we love ourselves into change rather than beating us into change. Because if we beat ourselves into change, we're going to buckle under the pressure at some point. It's not going to be sustainable, both like in the double
Right.
sense of the word. It's not going to be a long-term change, because as soon as we, stop beating ourselves up because we got exhausted or whatever, or it's too painful, we're going to be stopping and, fall back into our old ways of being. But it's also not, I mean, if I'm not sort of coming from the energy of, okay, I want to do this, I'm choosing this, I have other options, but I'm actually choosing to do this without being forced to, this is when really change happens in our lives. Of course, most people will find this sort of tipping point or galvanizing point for change from a place of pain and, okay, I can't go on like this. But still, again, how much energy are you wasting on beating yourself up for having been bad, or, having a high carbon footprint, or, living unsustainably in the past? Okay, you're human, so what? Today's another day, tomorrow's another day. You can just begin every day. And even if you fall back and, you slip, or you're not perfect, you have the opportunity to begin anew with every new day. So that's also something that I really want to stretch, because, people who want to live more sustainably, they are often under the impression that they kind of have to get it perfect right from the start, because otherwise it's not going to be valid.
Yeah.
So either you do it perfect or you're not doing it at all. That's kind of
Right.
one of the typical mindsets around that. And this is also putting so much pressure on people, and like with this type of belief, they end up probably giving up at some point, because, as I said, in addition to the changes needed and the new things that you have to learn and that you have to develop habits for, you're also having to deal with working against yourself, in a sense, against your own judgment of yourself, against your own guilting and shaming of yourself for not being perfect sooner, or, so
Right.
there is so much unpack around sustainable living. It's I mean, I'm amazed every day what could come up in that context. Yeah.
That's a really big job, Katharina. The more I think about it, I'm like, there really is. That could go anywhere, in any
Yeah.
direction, if you're going to
Yeah.
be coaching somebody. That's amazing.
Yeah.
I mean, it's so much bigger to think about it. It's bigger thinking about it than it is just hearing it,
Yeah.
Climate change coach. Okay, cool. But then yeah, wow, that's amazing. What a great service that is.
Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't do anything else. I love it. It is sometimes, I mean, I'm human too, of course. So, it is sometimes, it really, probably, like, for, maybe also psychotherapists and all, it is sometimes, I have to, coach myself a lot as well, to not sort of fall into the same black hole of, despair and anxiety that my clients sometimes are in, because I won't be able to help them if I'm down in the drain with them.
Right.
But I mean, of course, I'm a human too. So I mean, I am also affected by climate change. I'm also suffering from climate anxiety sometimes, and I also had to learn how to deal with that, and how to manage that, and how to not sort of let my anxiety of the future of due to climate change be the driving force
Hmm.
of my day-to-day life. I had to learn how to relegate the anxiety from the passenger seat of my life's car, and no, so sorry, from the driver's seat to the passenger seat. It's still there. Sometimes it makes a stupid comment from the passenger seat that, aren't you seeing the red traffic light ahead? You should go slower, or you should,
Right.
How we all have sometimes the experience of like a passenger who thinks that you're driving badly and that he could do it better or she could do it better. But anyway, so it really is about, it really is also for me a lot about coaching myself on a daily basis, using those tools that I've been trained in on my own person.
I believe that.
To not be affected to the extent that I can't help people. But I don't care. I love this work, because it's just, I find it the most meaningful of all coaching topics that I could think of. Because I mean, if I'm helping someone to not get debilitated by their own climate change anxiety, and those people then go out, and even if they don't do anything in their life with regards to sustainable living, but only if they just feel better, and they maybe can teach other people or tell other people something that I've told them, I've already, my work is done. I've already made an impact in the world that goes beyond just my client. And most people, or as I said, the people that I love to work with most, and that is my ideal client, let's say, is of course someone who wants to do something beyond just feeling better and then going on with their life. I like most to work with people who really say, okay, I have to change something. I'm inundated by stuff in my home, by plastic, by waste. I can't bear to watch the news. I have to do something. And I have children. I can't bear to look at them and think about where they will be in 20 years' time if I'm not now getting my act together.
Right.
And those people who want to do something, but maybe they really don't know what would be the best thing to do, or maybe they've tried something, they kind of dip their toe into something, but then they've kind of gotten inundated by all these negative limiting beliefs that we talked about before. Other people aren't doing it with me. I don't have the time, the energy. My family isn't on board. I can't go it alone. Or it's just too hard. It's too late. All these things, and these are all mindset things that we actually can work on, that we can shift, that it is possible to change that. And once it clicks, it really, people are really sort of exploding with not only action, but very interesting. Probably you've also realized that for yourself, or also for your audience. One of the biggest misconceptions I think about sustainable living is that it has to do, or it is connected with deprivation, giving up, sort of not being able to enjoy life anymore, sacrificing quality of life. And I have found, both for myself personally in my own sustainability journey, but also with regards to everyone else I've been able to inspire, both clients and in my private surroundings, I've actually found that the exact opposite is true. A more aligned and sort of minimal life, minimal in the sense that I know exactly what I want in my life, and I have that. I know how to get that, how to create that, both emotionally for myself, but also sort of physically with regards to maybe a more streamlined home, or for example, personally, I used to be a compulsive shopper. I used to go every weekend when I didn't have anything better to do. I would just go into H&M and all these sort of fast fashion places, and I mean, probably every weekend I would come home with at least one or two things, and they would then sort of live in my wardrobe, and I probably wouldn't even remember that I had bought them in the first place, let alone wear them. And you know, through this whole work, I've completely turned that around, and now I've really sized down. I have a wardrobe of maybe, let's say, 100 pieces in total. I've worn the same winter coat for the last 5 years, looking like new. I mean, you know what I'm saying? It really is. I really sort of internalized for myself that the life that I can create my own life and my own happiness purely from within myself. I don't need anything external. I don't need stuff. I don't need status symbols. I don't need anything. I don't need I don't know. I mean, probably I could be as happy in a tiny house as I am now in my apartment. You know what I'm saying? So it really is about also a lot of mindset shifting there. What do I need to be happy? Do I need all these external things? And once you realize and you actually experience that you actually don't need them, that you can create everything that you desire from life by yourself, from within yourself, like even without any external influence, that's when, you know, when you really, when things click. Yeah. So as I said, I've found the exact opposite to be true. Living more in alignment with nature and the planet, and you know, just living more sustainably in general is actually the key for me to more well-being, both physical and mental, emotional, but also, yeah, more happiness in general, because I know that I don't need all this stuff anymore. And I know that I am, with my new way of living, I'm doing good by Mother Earth in a way. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that, you know, letting go, and I think I would assume that a big part of the coaching is like letting go of the negativity. Like, you do not have to be responsible for everything. You don't have to take all that on.
Yeah.
And you definitely don't need to share that with other people. But, you know, that would give you like this feeling of lightness and maybe more energy. And
Yeah.
I have a goal to like work on my house and clean out some stuff, and I've been working on it a little bit at a time, but I need to do like a big clean out. I have hoarding in my genes. so so I'm fighting it. I'm fighting it hard. But
Right.
yeah.
Yeah.
But so
It is a worthwhile.
yeah, for sure. But so Katharina, I'm really curious what the point was. I mean, what were you doing before the climate change coaching? Was it just not just like, it's not a big deal, but life coaching? And then where was the point where you switched or just added that in? Was there something that clicked with you?
Actually, I always knew that I wanted to go in the direction of, no, that's not true. I thought for a few months, I thought about coaching mothers, you know, working moms, that, you know, people like women that work full time and have little children, because that's also my identity. I do have a 3-year-old and I work full time. And I decided, then I thought about my own life and where I had overcome my own obstacles, and what the biggest things were, let's say. And then I mean, I thought about my own eco-anxiety journey, as I said before, and what I had been able to change in my life around that. And then I thought, okay, if I am suffering or had been suffering from eco-anxiety to the extent of not being willing, I mean, I was questioning having children at all at the point when, like, when it was the time. I mean, the fact that I now have a child is proof that I was able to overcome that. But so yeah, and I thought, if I am suffering from that, probably there are other people out there. And then I started to do some market research, and I actually realized that there aren't any or very few coaches out there that also cover sustainable living, and or eco-anxiety in for that matter. And yeah, and I just decided to give it a go practically right from the start.
I
So
had no idea it was a thing. I'm so
yeah.
glad. I'm so glad that we connected. And so did
Yeah,
you
thank you.
you had this feeling about that, and then did you just you were doing research and you came across the training?
Pretty much, yeah. I just, because it was like, I mean, I started I finished my certified life coach certification in October 21. And by the time sort of the new year 2022 rolled around, I was starting my business, and I had already decided to go coach in the context of climate change. And then, because I couldn't find anything really in terms of, I mean, it was even difficult to come up with let's say like competitors. Sometimes people tend to think, okay, competition is a bad thing, but
Right.
sometimes it can actually be a good thing, because it tells you, okay, there is something viable here. So I felt, or still feel, like a complete pioneer in my area, which is a good thing, because people like you approach me, and from, like, even without me having
Yeah.
sort of to sort of scream from the top of my lungs of from all the roofs, but still, it's still sort of, I'm still sort of feeling my way around this area and how to best approach things, and all of that. And so I started to sort of research about different things that were available in that space, and I did come across this advanced coaching certificate. And then I thought, okay, if there is someone teaching coaches how to do that, that means there must be something there.
Yeah.
And but interestingly, also from all these colleagues in my cohort, I mean, I was the seventh cohort, and like every cohort is 10 people, and all the other coaches are already seasoned coaches in areas like career development, or finding your purpose, empowerment, like,
Sure.
or leadership things, or business coaches, and they just wanted to bring climate change as a topic into existing conversations. And I haven't found anyone like me who kind of wanted to do only the climate stuff right from the start. So
Mm.
I still, like, even within the climate change coaching
Right.
certification, I kind of felt like a complete pioneer, because, as I said, I was still quite new with my business, and building up my
Sure.
expertise and experience, and even all the other colleagues that were being trained in the same thing, like, they had been coaching for, I don't know, 20 years, and in different realms of also classic coaching, like, business career related topics mostly, and all of that. And there was no one there like me who wanted to go for eco-anxiety as a main focus.
Right.
So
So
it was
sustainability is like an
interesting.
add-on feature to their regular coaching,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
this is your focus.
yeah,
I
yeah,
love it.
yeah.
So you have a full-time job and you are doing this on the side in the
I'm
middle
I'm
of the night.
I'm still doing it on the side.
Good
Oops,
for you.
sorry, did I kick you out? Sorry, I pressed a key on my keyboard by mistake. No, yeah, I'm still working a full-time job, and building the coaching up to hopefully being my full-time job
Yeah.
in the foreseeable future, and in the very near future. And yeah, so that's where I'm at now.
That's amazing. I mean, it says so much to me about the passion that you have for it and that, that you are doing it in the middle of the
Yeah.
night. And
Yeah,
it's been a little over a year, about a year that this has been
yeah,
your focus.
yeah, yeah,
Awesome. That's
yeah,
great.
yeah, yeah,
Do you have any takers on the are you like really
yeah.
busy? Do you have lots of clients? That's amazing.
Yeah, I mean, I still have, space, of course, to take on new people, but yeah, it really is a thing. It really is a thing. I mean, for example, I joined this networking organization called Women in Climate, and it's the network that exists also, I think, for a year, and it's over 1,000 people already, and I mean, it really is. I mean, sustainability is the biggest topic probably of all big topics. So if there is anything, like, if it isn't there, where would it be otherwise, in a way? So, you know, and I'm actually I'm also now sort of branching out also into business related teaching. For example, I've just on Friday received an offer from a training platform that offers training to employees, like to
Oh my
companies.
gosh.
So I'm now a proud trainer for them, and I will be, I mean, of course, we have to sort of, you know, nail down the details and stuff, but they want to work with me, and they want me to be one of the trainers on their platform, teaching people about climate change and about how to live more sustainably and how to do that in a business professional context. So it really is a huge thing. And I mean, a friend of mine, for example, she works for a speakers agency, and she says by far the most successful and sort of most often booked person that they sort of sell, let's say, is someone who is talking about how to live more sustainably and how to do that, like within businesses, how to transform their business processes into, you know, more sustainable things, and how to redesign their products in a more, so, you know, I mean, it is like I would say the technical sustainability side is really sort of exploding, like how to reduce your carbon footprint, what is your carbon footprint, how to reduce that, what does that even mean, like, and like specifically with regards to, you know, businesses and all of that. I would say that's really well covered. But as I said, there isn't so much yet, and I'm hoping to be one of the first to really offer that, to offer something for private people as well, like for individuals outside of a business context, and combine that with coaching. Because as I said, I don't think it's so much about knowing what to do. It's more about the how. How do I actually do it? How can I build the habit? How can I not make this sustainable living become about deprivation, about giving up, about, like, how can I shift my mindset? How can I get off the, yeah, of the life that I'm now, that I'm maybe not happy with, which is a life full of stuff, full of clutter, full of things that I don't even want in my life, and that are harming the planet at the same time. And how can I get more aligned, both with the planet and with what I really want and what I really need, and what is maybe even healthier, what is even saving me money, because I'm not spending my money on stuff I don't even need, or, you know. And so it really is to my mind at least, much more about the how to actually overcome the obstacles that are standing in the way of doing it, rather than just doing a
Absolutely.
who about what to do. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the big hurdle. And then once you get past that, the rest of it will either become more clear or not be so overwhelming.
Yeah. Because I mean, it really is all about taking the first baby step. And once you've sort of incorporated that in your daily routine, I mean, with regards with my shopping, for example, I mean, I got on a consumption diet. I can't remember what it was, like 3 months or 6 months. Like I gave myself like a non-shopping period, let's say. And by the time I did that, I didn't even miss it anymore. So, you know, it really is about the first step. And once you have that, it not only has this ripple effect for your own life. In fact, like, it happened to me, like in my circle of friends, I was the first one to start thinking about climate change and to do, you know, to do something about it. And like, you know, then my friends started to ask me, like, what are you doing? What is this? And like, why are you doing that? And now it's actually become this thing, you know. I mean, I like my two best friends, they keep sending me WhatsApp messages with, oh, have you seen this product, and have you, like, we could do this, and you know, this donation, and blah blah blah. So, you know, I'm actually sort of, I've set all this stuff into motion, and that is what is possible for everyone, you know. So if everyone who's listening is wondering whether, you know, they are the only ones doing it, or whether they will remain forever the only ones doing it, it's just not true. If you are starting to set something in motion, it will have, for sure, 100%, it will have, you know, other people will notice. And especially if you can do it without being deprived, and without giving up, and without being, you know, sad and all that, because you've realized for yourself that it doesn't have to be this way. Why wouldn't other people be inspired as well? Because if you can, like, I read this beautiful quote, if we can stand in our power, we will call others into theirs. So, and that really is about it. If you do it from this energy of, okay, this is who I am, and this is who I want to be, and this is something that I've decided, this is in alignment with my values, and with how I want to show up in the world, that's going to radiate out to others, and they will see it, and they will say, oh, I want to have that too. And then that's how it starts. And then suddenly you're sort of surrounded by others who want to do the same. And then bang, you're in the middle of a little movement or a little community. It's beautiful.
It is beautiful. I'm loving that so much.
Yeah.
But it's like yeah, like I started, you know, we recycle, of course, but and we compost, but my first like baby step was shampoo bars instead of a bottle of shampoo, and I swear by it. Like so my next step, I mean, I do other things, but like I want to learn how to make my own, because I've been ordering them, and I've been, you know, I'll like give them out to people for holiday gifts, or, you know,
nice. Yeah.
Just to share that. And you know, I've had some good feedback, but I think that there are people that also haven't tried it because it's new. But yeah. I love it. And I need to learn how to make it, because I'm spending all my money on that, and I can probably make a lot more. But yeah, it was a baby step, and it is nothing. And it's just, think about all that plastic that is not going in the landfills. But anyway, I'm so excited about your business gig. That's incredible.
Thank
that's
you.
That's going to be a big step for you.
Totally.
You know,
yeah.
A lot of, you're going to get noticed.
Hopefully, yeah. I hope so. No, I'm sure. I'm actually quite confident that this is going to be a good thing. Yeah.
Oh, for sure. So, Katharina, when I say the word sustainability, what does that mean to you?
To me, I would say it means living in a way that is as little impactful in a negative sense on the planet as possible, while at the same time being something that I can withstand, or that I can carry on doing long term. So I do think it has this double meaning. It is sustainable in the sense that it is, you know, in alignment with what the planet is able to absorb and carry, and it is also something that I'm doing for the rest of my life, basically, without noticing any negative effect from it.
Right. Yeah. Okay. I love that. Yes, absolutely. And I love that sustainability gets to be used twice, because it is really important. It's not something that you do once and say, okay, I did my sustainable thing, but it's an ongoing thing. And if it's too big, then you're not going to continue it. And then you, like, you know, then you have to deal with that, the mindset thing all over again, because you know, you just went in over your head. But I love that. I love that the way that you said it is just so perfect and so beautiful.
Thank you.
And then, so how can people find you to either get some coaching, or I know
Yeah.
you're offering all these amazing free things on your website.
Mhm.
You've got a newsletter going out. You've got a free, what did you say, workshop?
Yeah, as I
A
said,
master class. Sorry.
it's called masterclass. Yeah, I mean, what it is, it's practically a 1 hour Zoom class where I'm teaching about, like, one topic around coaching or sustainability every month. It's mostly like the first or second week of the month. I have a free guide on my website, which is called the Ultimate Guide to Reducing Your Carbon Footprint, the 15 most effective things an individual can start doing today without having to even significantly change their lifestyle.
Is that
So
50 or 15? 50? 15.
15. So it's where I'm kind of piling together the, let's say, low-hanging fruits of sustainable living.
Yeah.
And yeah, and I mean, of course, my website also offers a one-on-one coaching, and coming March, the membership, this coaching membership that I mentioned. Yeah, so everyone who's listening is, of course, more than welcome to check all of that out, and yeah.
And what is your website, Katharina?
So it's my name, it's KatharinaHellman.com, or my second URL, which basically leads to the same site, which probably is more easy to spell, is Climate Anxiety Coach.
Oh.
Climate Anxiety Coach in one word.com, and it will go to my website where people can find all these things. And that's also my Instagram handle. People can also find me on social media. That's Katharina Hellman Coaching. But I also have a second handle that's 𝗚𝗿ance Coach. That's my Instagram handle. So it kind of
𝗚𝗿ance Coach. Okay.
Yeah, 𝗚𝗿ance Coach. That's both the URL and the Instagram handle. So, but I mean, probably you will link me in the show notes, so people who are listening can
absolutely
just in the show notes anyway. So don't worry about the spelling. Yeah, German names are sometimes probably a bit hard to spell for non-German speakers, so that's totally fine. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, very cool. So yes, people will have to check out the show notes. I will have everything in there. But thank you so much. I'm so thrilled that we made this connection. I can't even. I'm. This is so goofy, but I'm like a little bit teary because I feel like you have addressed a lot of things that I have been feeling, and I just feel like I I feel seen, like,
Yeah.
and not like I'm this like sad little person, but just, or this like above everyone else person that is just,
Yeah.
people can't reach my level, which is silly because I am not that. But just that there's help for people like me.
Yeah.
I love that, and thank you so much for that. And I cannot wait for people to check out your website and get all the free goods, and and get more of you, because I'm really looking forward to that.
Cool. Thank you so much, Amy. It was a pleasure to talk to you. Pleasure to talk to everyone who is listening. And yeah, as I said, you now know where to find me. And I love my work. I love helping people, deal with climate change in the best possible way, and turn that into something good for the planet and for themselves. So yeah, thank you for having me.
Thank you so much for doing that, and thank you for being with me. I hope you sleep great tonight.
I will. Thank you, Amy.
Alrighty.
Thanks for having me again.
Sure thing.